Hi chat, it's me on my own channel. Would you look at that? We're gonna do some slime Mori Mori, the last run of the event, and also the run that I'll be doing at BSG next week. So, you know, felt fitting. I'm gonna just get my last few things up, and then I'm ready to go. So, I got this cartridge in Japan. I've not actually gotten to play on it yet. So it has it has some saves still. Honey, can you help me for just a second? Which of these is to delete the save? Thank you. I don't think we have the option to go into... Well, into... Ah. Since we're going to be a she after this. Alright. Alright, chat. Let's do this. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to the final run of the event. Welcome to Slime Mori Mori. What a Jon Summer-thon it's been. So, for those that don't know Slime Mori Mori, this is a little Dragon Quest spin-off. This is the first edition in the series. There's 3 of these. This is, I believe, the only one that's a Japanese exclusive. Both of the other ones have English releases. And we're going to just first get a little tutorial of the mechanics here, and we do that by this pot-breaking minigame. This is like a little contest between me and some friends. They have a little reward for whoever gets the best time. Right now, the best time, I was supposed to get both of them. Right now, the best time is 60 seconds. We got to beat that. Isn't particularly difficult. This is indeed GBA. It is run on my Nintendo DS. That's what we're doing. Anyway, Hooli, our friend here, lost, and he's going to give us the Staff of Change. Very well-known item across the Dragon Quest series. And we are going to use the Staff of Change, and that transforms us into a monster. Well, into a platypunk, which is kind of like the bad guys of this game. And, you know, our mom's gonna be upset about all this. She's gonna take our staff. And that's basically, like, right now we're kind of just getting through the initial bit of the story. This is kind of how we turn into a platypunk for now. That won't last. You see, that same night... we get attacked by the platypunks. Now this guy might be thinking that we're just being lazy in our bed because, you know, we're a platypunk and we're just kind of sleeping here. You know, they're here to kidnap all of the slimes. And one of those includes our little sister. The little she-slime. And Hooli, he attacks us, I believe thinking that we are a platypunk, and then realizes, oh, actually, it's me. Yeah, as you can see, our entire town has been destroyed. The ST on the big balls here stand for slime tons. That's how many slimes it takes to lift it. So 5 ST means 5 slime tons, meaning the amount of weight that 5 slimes together can carry. We also see this little Cyclops guy. He's gonna try to capture us. Huli tells us that he's going to hold off the Cyclops so that we can run. And so we do. And that's basically the story of the game. Now we gotta go rescue our friends. Now, for any there's 100 slimes in total that have been captured. For any percent, we need to save 70 of them. Yeah, I wasn't too sure about the exact Dragon Quest enemy name on this one. Anyway, we find our friend here. He's gonna teach us how to, you know, bring them out. We just get him to the entrance, and then he can make his way back home himself. The way that we do the movement is I do a charge to move around. That's the fastest way to move. Sometimes I'll do a short charge. Sometimes generally I'll do the extended charge because it gives me just enough distance to make it worth it. Anyway, there's 3 slimes in this room that we need to save. We cannot progress until we've gotten these 3. They give us some more context on like having to save 100 slimes and whatnot. And back at the entrance, we rescue them and we move on. Now that they're saved, the next door is going to open. And we can move on. We find our friend Bubba. And we have to hit this button. This is going to get the other way that we can get slimes out, which is through these little carts. We drop them onto the cart, and then they will be riding off back home. Now these carts can only hold 1 slime or 1 item. Later on, we will find some that can hold more. That's fine. Alright, here we have a little tunnel that a slime can fit through. And another little... it's the priest slime. The priest is where we save the game. Once we get him to town is when we can actually save the game. Up until that point, we could not. He's also the last slime we'll save here, at least on our first visit. He explains us how the rock bombs work, which we use to blow up this wall. And then we'll be riding off into the sunset, and he'll give us some more instructions on like how the day works and how we can keep track of time. It's not really going to be relevant for this run because we're never even going to get close to a day ending. So now that you're all caught up on how this game works, how the story works, I hope you've all been enjoying the Jon Snow-a-thon. Hope you guys have been having fun. This is an excellent opportunity where we can also chat about anything and everything regarding this final edition. Is it, at least for me, the final edition? Last time I'll be running it, of this Jon Snow-a-thon. So if you have any questions, now is a good opportunity to ask them. Alright, we're back in town. The priest sees all the devastation. We have some slimes, so we can get the 5 slime ton ball off. Not stressful at all. No, totally not stressful at all. We've basically been sitting here being stressed out of our minds at many, many moments since like Tuesday, just trying to do whatever we could to keep this event alive. It is so tiring to go to sleep knowing that you could wake up and the event's just done. Like, that constantly looming over your head means you're not sleeping well. It has been something else, alright? But hey, I mean, I've been promising that this would happen again for 6 years, so I'm glad I got to make true on that promise. Best memories of all events. I mean, there's no team, really. There was at one point in time, but that team doesn't exist anymore. And I'd always wanted to do, like, the purest form of the marathon, where nobody knew going into it that it was going to happen, which this one absolutely was. Heck, I didn't know this was going to happen until, like, 7 hours before the stream went live. So, quick interjection, this is the part of the game where we get introduced to the next mechanic, which is enemies. We are going to be saving every slime in this area. There's 12 in total, I have 6 more to save, but we're going to only save 3 right now. I mean, the helping hands have changed a lot over the course of the different Jon Summer-thons. And so there's not really been like a set team who has run these events. I think some of the best moments are absolutely like every time we actually complete one. And then there's like moments like we had with the Bomberman run where we decide, okay, this event isn't stupid enough already. Let's make it more stupid. There's the last one. I was wondering where the last one went. So yeah, this is one of those rooms where we just gotta kill every enemy. Right, we rescue our friend. I almost went to the top left, but there's actually a slime to the top right here that I have to save. Almost forgot about that little guy. We can't break those crystals yet. We can only do so after we've saved our parents. But yeah, I like ultimately the best moments are when we actually pull it off and it's been successful and it's over. Because most of the event is quite stressful, but it has some really cool moments where you get like, yeah, I need to bomb. Like, especially with things like what we did yesterday with the Bomberman run, where, you know, we were like, okay, you know what? I think we can pull off a 1-minute run in this event, despite its limitations. That's kind of annoying. Now I need to wait for the bomb to respawn. It is really cool to see it spread through the different communities. Like, initially we reached out to a couple of communities to try and get some initial momentum going, which did work. Like, we've seen some runners, especially UKSG, they came out strong. The German community came out very strong, to name a few examples. So we've seen communities come through, and then as the event has been going, you just kind of see it pick up more and more. But there have definitely been points where I got very close to giving up. There is one point that we had, I think it was the second night, where I told my partner, you know, I'm ready to give up. I was done. I was so exhausted. We didn't have a restreamer at that point because we were still several hours out from our US restreamers being available. I just couldn't anymore. And my partner picked it up and carried us through that night. Alright, gonna interject real quick about the game. This is the first boss fight, because this game also has boss fights. This is the Golem. Throughout the game, there are several points where we have to where we will see a boss fight, and we have to beat all of the bosses. Now, this fight is not particularly difficult. We kind of just keep hitting into him. There we go. There, I set myself up between the trees and the boss to get the last few hits in. After every boss fight, we will see a slime that we have to get. We cannot progress the game until we have all of them. Now, we will see this area one more time when we come to clean up the last 3 slimes, but we are now done with our first area, the Noke Woods. We've saved 9 of the 12 slimes. Yeah, now that we've saved this this slime, that's going to unlock the next area, which is also one of the biggest ones that we have to clear out, because there's so many things to remember in this next one. It's quite a lot of slimes we're going to be saving. Again, we need 70 slimes by the end of the game, and we're going to do so in part by clearing all of the first 3 areas. Right, Gelato River. There's a slime here that we are not going to pick up. Picking up that slime will get us a little cutscene where it tells us this is how you dig underground, and did you know you can bury yourself in the sand like that? And it's really slow to do that, so we are going to avoid doing so. We will pick up the slime. We do need it later, but we don't need it for a little longer. Right, I'm gonna have to go in here to grab this slime, because otherwise I won't have enough space on my head in a minute. And I can send these 2 off. This guy. There's heal slime of sorts, or cure slime. So once again, I have to get rid of these 2 slimes as well. That now sets us up to be able to go back to this area. There's a little puzzle we need to do here where we have to move this block into a hole on the right here to make the water level rise. That's a mechanic we'll see a couple of times throughout the run. There's 3 slimes here and a bomb. I will need all 4 of those, and there is one point where we can send one of the slimes away. This is why I had to get the other one first. I couldn't get everything in one run. So we grab the bomb. Now it's very, very important that in this next section I don't get hit. Because if I get hit here, that would be a problem. Because I would lose the bomb, and it's almost impossible to get it at that point. And there are some enemies very much trying to hit me there. Nearly did get hit there. We sent those 2 home. I need the bomb to break up this block here. Get the bomb. Blow that thing up. Send the slime off. We now wait for another bomb, because I will need another one. There's once again some enemies here that I really got to make sure I dodge. Blow this one up. We're going to save or we're going to get this slime out of the chest, but I'm actually not going to save him. I'm just going to put him a little bit closer. There can be 3 slimes out of the chest at one point. So I only need 2 more out of the chest in a minute. This is another one of those areas where, you know, I cross through now, but on the way back there'll be enemies. But they're fairly easy to dodge, so grab this block of wood. Slime. And another one. Yeah, ultimately with an event like this, like it often comes down to just a couple of really helpful people kind of just pulling us through the worst parts. The North American restreamers we had, Tutular and Selkuth, were certainly the 2 that really helped me and my partner do just that. And then there have been a couple of others like Lone and did I miss the and Rom? Okay, this is a little annoying. I needed that slime to get on the cart, but I couldn't get him out without knocking the other one off. Yeah, like Lone and Rom to help us, you know, get some rest. You know, just to help give us a break every once in a while, because we certainly needed them. Alright, we're coming up on a fairly precise little trick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this slime, and I'm going to have to try to throw him onto a cart so that I can come back for this block of wood. I can only carry 3 things at once. There'll be a cart here, which I did get him on. Because then I can immediately turn back for this block of wood. If I missed that, it would have been a little harder to do just that. Now, I unfortunately lost my wood. I do need all 3 of them. This is really annoying. Well, that's a marathon run for you, I guess. There's this lighthouse, and I need to throw 5 blocks of wood into the incinerator here. Okay, that went about as poorly as it could have. Usually what we try to do is we try to throw the block in and push the block that was already here a little bit closer. That way both of them will go in at the same time. Just like that. There's another block here, which I'm going to now pick up. We're not immediately going to throw it in. Rather, I'm going to save this slime. Remember the slime that we saved earlier? Yep, we're going to grab that now. Save these 2. There is another slime over here. Gotta save this one. And then I can use this little thing to get back up. Alright, that gets us the last block of wood. We have now overheated the lighthouse, which is going to cause the whole thing to blow up. And that will reveal the boss door, which was behind the waterfall here. We'll see this particular platypunk again later. He's a very relevant character later on in the story. Although we won't be interacting with him much for any percent. Built to full, and it's time for the next boss fight. This is Draharuto. Draharuto is a tiny little Draki. And this fight consists of 3 phases. In the first phase, we kind of just shoot ourselves into him. This is the phase where we can generally deal damage the quickest. But we want to do as much damage as we can before he goes into the next phase. Which, unfortunately, I didn't do very successfully. Which isn't a big deal. I can still deal a lot of damage in the next phase. Yeah, he's going to now absorb all of the water. And he's going to become giant here. Now, during this, he will do 3 things. Water spouting, fireballs, and then he will drop a bunch of rocks. The rocks is how I can deal damage to him. Was a bit risky. I knew I wasn't doing so hot there. Okay, that did not go great. I want to do 3 hits on him because as soon as I, yeah, okay, this is what I was worried about. Because I'm worried about him going into the last phase and me not having any of those rocks. That would make it really hard for me to deal damage to him. Because what he's going to do is he's going to blow himself up and he's going to kind of just throw himself at us. There we go. That's the boss. Not an amazing fight, but not terrible. Yeah, in that last phase, it's really hard to deal damage to him, and you can lose a lot of time to it, which is why I was just taking it a little bit more careful. We saved the liquid metal slime. That's our next slime saved. I believe I should have saved 18 slimes total. We're going to get the check here to see if we actually did. Yes, we did. That means we did get every slime I needed to get at least. So if nothing else, I'm happy we got all of the slimes. The other 4 we will come back for. We can't get all 4 of them right now. We can get 1 more. That's the one we skipped at the start of the level. The other 3 are locked behind me beating this next stage. Which is the lava stage, the first of the 2 lava stages. By the way, since I couldn't listen to it earlier, how are we on like game audio? Is it properly audible? Because I can easily turn it up or down if needed. Remember the Platypunk from the lighthouse? Yeah, he's gonna stumble into our town. He's gonna decide that he's gonna help us repair the whole thing. He's gonna set up shop here. Basically what we can do is we can go into his shop and he will ask for certain items and he will use that items to help us upgrade town. There's some very cute things he can do to the town. He like builds whole buildings for us just to help the whole town look better. We are, however, not going to do that because it's slow. We are going to go to the Nekomiski mine. And we are going to go save some more slimes. I'm going to save these two, and then I'm going to actually go for a slightly safer strategy. I can now either head back and send them home that way, or I can keep carrying them. The upside of bringing them back is I don't have to worry about... okay. I don't have to worry about rescuing them anymore. I'm going to go through a couple very enemy-heavy rooms. And if I were to get hit, then they would drop, and, you know, they're kind of hard to pick up because it's so enemy dense. I'm gonna flick the switch so that we open up a path. We're gonna take the left path now. We're gonna go back for the right path later. Now, if I don't get hit, it is faster to keep the slimes because, you know, it saves us having to walk back. There is one slime here I need. The rest I don't care about. You can stay there. Because now I just have that one left to rescue, and we're gonna pick up the sword. This is going to give us our next mechanic. We can now use sword slashes. We can use that to like break balloons, for example. But also to deal damage to enemies. Save this guy. Save this guy. There are more slimes on the left and right, but we are not going to save all the slimes in this area. So this is one of those places where these carts can have up to 4 slimes. We're going to save 3 now because there can only be 3 out of the box. We're going to come back for the other 3 later. Here I got a bunch of platforms that I got to drop. They will be our path for later, so it's kind of important we dropped. Oh, I did not mean to fall down. That should be fine. There should be an elevator right here. That's probably the least bad one to fall down on. That one is a little more annoying. I tried to set up to jump across the hole. Did not succeed. Yes, they can say 4 because you can have 3 plus yourself. Alright, we're going to drop down this one. This one I intend to drop down on because what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this balloon and that's going to make the wall disappear, opening up the next path. We're not going to take that path just yet because we got some more slimes to save first. Don't need my armor anymore, so that's nice. Get rid of that. Gotta save this teeny tiny little slime here. And then we're gonna go around here to grab this one. Save all 3 of them. I'm going to reset the room so that they're immediately saved. That way I can now come in and save the other 3. I was afraid that might happen. I was right there next to the fireball. kind of unfortunate. Not the enemy I want. Or not the pickup I wanted. There we go. We got them. That worked. Right, we're gonna get across because I do need another sword in a minute. And we can pick this one up. We have a mini boss. A lot of the ways that these levels work is that right before the boss, we'll actually have to do a little mini boss. This is going to be one of those. This is one of the easiest ones because it's the first time that we have to deal with a mini boss. We also get to see a little bit more about the story. There's this platypunk that they idolize. The big boss especially is a really big fan of her. And everything has to do with impressing that one. I'm going to set the checkpoint here so that if I die on the boss, because this boss can be a little bit tricky, it's quicker to get back to it. This is one of the bosses I tend to die on the most often. This is Baton. He's a vampire. What we do is we throw him into the lava. And that makes him vulnerable. We gotta kill every one of those tiny little bats. And that can be a bit of a pain. Okay, transforming back. We now go into the night cycle. Which the harder thing with this is we can capture him during that, like so. But it's very hard to do that, and it's oftentimes results in failure. But I wanted to show off the quick strat. We can kill all the bats in 2 cycles. Usually it takes me 3 or 4, but if my aim is correct and I get a little lucky on their movement, then it is possible. Okay, I did not get that. So we throw him in again. That gets us the last 2 bats, or shadows, as pointed out in chat. This is the problem with when there's just the one left. Its hitbox becomes very tiny. And this is how he can kind of stun lock me if he stun locks me into the wall there. All right. It took us 4 cycles, but they were 4 fairly quick cycles. The hitbox on those things is very, very tiny, so it's really hard to do sometimes. Anyway, this is where our parents are. This is our dad. And our dad is going to teach us a secret technique, which will allow us to break these crystals, because in the other chest is our mum. And we now learn the secret technique, and we'll need it to get the other slimes in the remaining area, in the earlier areas. 14, that seems correct. Alright. So now we got some cleaning up to do. We've rescued everyone in the first three, or everyone that we've beaten all of the bosses in the first 3 stages. Now we need to go rescue the remaining slimes in each of the first 3 stages. The first 2 we're going to full clear, the third one not quite. But there is 1 slime in each of them that I have to save to be able to progress the story because they unlock the next areas. The red slime here tells us about all the blocks that have been removed. Right, we're going to start off with Noke Woods. I need to gather 2 Platies and a Draki. That's the Draki. That's a Platy. Gotta make sure I don't get hit by that one. We break the crystals. Gotta get them in the right order, like so. And this is going to unlock this tower. Now I have to collect an apple, a barrel, and a bunny. But first, I'm gonna get 1 safety. Throughout the game, you can find these little seeds of life. They increase my health by a heart. I will get exactly 1 because that one's the closest to the route that I could find. That's the apple. That's the barrel. Now I gotta get a bunny. There should be one here. Help if I can actually... That sucks. Can you not, please? Okay, the bunny is still alive. That's the important one. That is like the bunny only has 1 health left. I'm gonna just beat them up because I do not want to risk losing the bunny and having to go all the way back. Now, I might not have them in an order where I can sort them correct. I hope I have them right, but otherwise I may have to drop the apple. No, I do not. Right, barrel bunny. I'm gonna have to get another apple. I was worried I might, because of the drop from the Platypunk earlier. I wasn't in a great position. Luckily, the apple is fairly close by. That's why I specifically dropped the apple and not any of the other 2. At least with the apple, I knew I was going to be okay. There we go. That took a lot longer than it should have. This can always get a little bit finicky when you get things like this. And normally I can just drop the bunny and then pick it back up. But because the bunny was down to its last health, I couldn't do that here. Alright, now I just gotta get these 3 out. I can put one on the cart, but it doesn't really save me any time to do just that. Because it's faster here to just go to the entrance. because I can only rescue one at a time and I need to get out myself as well. That's the best way to do it. Alright, 44 slimes saved. We've saved over half of the slimes already. And we got enough slimes that I believe this is where they're going to start repairing town. Yes, it is. Oh, we get a little intermission cutscene where they're going to repair all of the buildings in town. Going to make the town look pretty again. Alright, with town looking nice again, we can now move on to the second level we're going to clear out, which is Balata River. Remember this slime? We didn't pick him up earlier because he would give us a cutscene. Now, it would give us some extra text boxes. Now it doesn't do that, so I'm going to go save it. I need a platy, a hammer, and a shell for this next part. The hammer hood is here. The shell is here. Now I just need the platypunk. Here's the platypunk. Okay. Thankfully he did not knock my things off. I was a little worried that that was going to happen. Alright, get rid of those three. I need to pick up the other enemy here now, the wyvern. I'm going to do by getting underground. I gotta get as close as I can to him as possible so that I can knock him on his back, pick him up. And I gotta get one of these. And I gotta get another one of these. Okay, that's what I need for the second statue. Get rid of the monsters, and once again, we've got 3 slimes in the back here. These are the last 3 in this area. I'm gonna save these 3, and we can get out of here. It's the ninja slimes are the ones that will open up the next areas, by the way. I don't think I'd mentioned that. So watch out for those and get onto the cart. There's still an opportunity for more things if you want to know things about the Jon Summer-thon. Might be worth mentioning, I've left the door open for people to take over the event after this, so this might not end up being the last Jon Summer-thon, just the last one for me, as in the last one that I'm running it. It was very funny the first time around, and every time since. Like, this event got started because we saw another event that was just where we kind of all just saw the issues. Where we were like, this is not, with this approach, it's never going to work. I think I've told this story before, so long-time people here will have very likely heard it before. Essentially, the problem was that it was a head organizer that the only thing he wanted to do was run the Twitter, which was a Twitter with 2 followers, and he was looking for people to do just about everything else. That sounds all fun and games in theory, but in practice, that's just not going to cut it. I just realized I'm not supposed to be bringing that block of gold right now. We pick that one up later. I gotta get this slime, though. And I've told this story a couple times before, so people may have heard it before, but... Alright, we're gonna, before we move on, I'm gonna grab 2 blocks of gold. We're gonna grab this one, and we're gonna go a little further in to grab another one. Yes, there is a reason why most marathons prep quite a lot. But when I saw that, me and some other people, we kind of just started to joke about the idea that, you know, you think you can do it that little prep. You know, I think we can do it better with no prep. And evidently, we got proven correct. I'm gonna just beat these 2 guys up. These lava monsters here are a real pain. They always are. Because their range is just very, very big. You know, so me and some friends, we saw that that was going on, and we decided, you know what? I think we can do better, even if we only prep for like 6 hours. If we basically do no prep at all. I'd say so. I'd say the Jon Summer-thon has been incredibly successful at proving the point that if you know what you're doing, even with very little prep, it is possible to run an event like this. Now, of course, it helps to know what you're doing. It helps to know what you need going into it. It helps to have a lot of contacts, because honestly, like, I couldn't do this if it wasn't for all of the people who have helped bring attention to the marathon. Like, so many existing marathons were willing to just, you know, shout us out, let people know, hey, they need runners. They're gonna try to do a 5-day long event. Send some love their way. And it wouldn't be doable without. It is, and that's kind of part of what makes this one harder than previous ones. In previous ones, there would always be at least a couple of people that knew going into it that I was planning on doing this. This time that wasn't the case. The only one who knew was Sion. And when I say no, I mean he knew like an hour or so earlier than the rest. So am I, Nordic. So am I. Alright, we got another tricky little thing to do here. We have now saved all of the ninja slimes, which means we're going to go to their space, and they each will pose as a challenge, and will unlock an area for us if we complete said challenge. I know there will be somebody to pick up the torch. I don't doubt that. And the last one ended 6 years ago, and, you know, there was just a lot going on around the event that I wasn't okay to deal with at that point. I'm going to focus on this one for a little bit. I got to capture this guy and put him in that net. This is the hardest of the 3, easily. And by far. Okay. Got him. So this guy is trying to hide here. The US flag is supposed to be the background, but he has the thing the other way around, so he's very easy to spot. This is the sort of event where it's like you kind of just have to be okay with things not being perfect. And it is a good way to help rationalize the event a bit as well, or to help rationalize marathons in general. Come on. There we go. Because you kind of, like, things aren't going to be perfect. You're going to run into things that just kind of don't work the way that you want them to. And that just has to be okay. This one's just about keeping it alive, you know? Keeping it running. And, I mean, like I said earlier, it's very stressful to go to bed knowing that you might wake up and the event's just over. Alright, we're gonna go to Deep Noke Woods. This is one of the areas that will pose us some challenges. It's also one of the areas we're gonna, I believe, full clear. I think we save every slime. There's only 10 slimes in this place, so it's not like the biggest. Right, this is probably my least favorite part because these things are really, really finicky. I have these little cart pieces that I gotta put in the right place, because if you don't, the cart's just gonna fly off the tracks. And even when you do, the cart still sometimes just flies off the track. Has a tendency to do so. That's the one. That should be good. I was really trying to get that slime on top of the cart there to save us a cycle. There is more slimes down here that I gotta rescue. Oh, no. No, 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 no. That can happen sometimes, where you accidentally knock it off when you don't intend to. This is why I really don't like this section much. It's so finicky. Yeah, and that's exactly it. Like, you at least have a team to rely on. And that's part of what makes this fun, is that going into it, I don't know that I have a team to rely on. Like, I had my partner, which has been an amazing support throughout all of this. But that's the only other person I knew going into it that would be there. So you never really know. Even something basic like, will I have a team to help me keep it running? Because, you know, that's kind of up for debate as well. All right, I'm going to show you guys a really cool little thing here. This is the money tree. In case anyone ever told you money doesn't grow on trees. Well, this tree proves it wrong. See, money does in fact grow on trees. Clearly, as we've established, there's a money tree. Right, there's a bunch of these bunnies that I gotta beat. They can kind of get all over the place, which is a little annoying, but we got this. Should be 2 more somewhere. Or was that the last one already? Nope. I knew there had to be 2 more, but couldn't find them. All right. Yeah, I was about to say there should be 1 slime in this part. And then we go up north. This is our mini boss. We gotta beat this guy before we can do anything. The way that we beat this guy is we actually let him beat himself. He's going to try to attack us, and we're going to let him attack into the bomb so that he blows himself up, and he deals damage to himself that way. And that now unlocks the actual boss of this area. This boss might look a little familiar. This is Golemy. Golemy is a fight that can be very, very quick, or it can take a while because it's a like we need to get a couple of hits in before we can start damaging him. And getting those hits in can be done in a single round, but it's really precise. Like the timing is quite tight. There, we got it. There, we got it as well. Getting the 4 hits in before he starts attacking again is not as easy as it seems. We got it there as well. Alright, that was a perfect boss fight. I'm still gonna lose time because of compared to what my PB has, just because the cart mini game went so poorly. But that was a perfect fight. That's as well as that fight can go. Yeah, because that's the thing. Because people just don't know in advance, you're not going to have people getting time off for the event. You're not going to have a chance to... You're kind of just having to run with whatever happens to be available. Because people won't have asked for time off. Like, I knew that I could do this during my break. But that's no guarantee on anyone else. All right, we get this this green tablet, but it's clearly incomplete, and so we're gonna look for the next tablet. There are 2 more that we gotta find. It's this one. Alright, Kara Pulse. This is probably the level that I feel the least confident in. It's also one of the last levels where we actually have to rescue a fair few slimes. Okay, we managed to dodge him. That's good. I'm gonna go all the way to the bottom here to try and not get hit. Then there's 2 little things to get the slimes out. Alright, this next room is a pain. There's a room coming up where we have 6 of these little devil guys try and deal damage to us and try and slow us down. And they can be very, very successful at slowing me down. Let's see how we do. I don't mind getting hit there at all. I do mind him grabbing the bomb. I needed that bomb. This is what I mean. It can be a pain. We can heal after this room, so it's okay if we take some damage. But I do have to make sure I don't die. I'm down to 1 heart now. But I'm nearly through. Okay. This is becoming too much of a problem now. I'm gonna have to start beating them a little. You can see how this room just becomes a pain. Especially knowing that I can't take another hit. Alright, we got through. Let me heal up. I absolutely hate that room. And you can probably see why. Right, I need these 2 bombs. And then we let ourselves get shot to here. Break that wall. And break this wall. Yeah, we did get to see, like, one of the other, like, it is really fun just to see how many people turn up just for this as a concept. Because at the end of the day, like, we did some promoting, and I tried to reach out to within my network a bit. There are so many people who just send more people this way that were just like, oh hey, this is a thing. Let's do something. Let's show up. I remember the Haste Runner mentioned that they had literally sent their run partner a message of like, hey, you want to do a marathon run in like half an hour? And they showed up and they did a run and it was great. You know, you get things like that. You really get to see a community, the speedrun community, show up in a way that you just don't do for like every other marathon, basically. And I've said this in the past that, you know, I think, like, because the marathon scene, especially the online marathon scene, to me feels like it's quite saturated. There's a lot of online marathons. Like, if you want to run into in a marathon, there's going to be many possibilities to do so nowadays. I went the wrong way. And I know I did. I always, like this part, because it has so many paths back, it's very easy to take the wrong one. And I've taken the wrong one many times. And I've taken the wrong one this time as well. Because it's very easy to think, oh, I gotta go down there. But no, I gotta go up here. It's not that big a time loss, but it's kind of it kind of annoys me how quickly that happens. Yeah, I always feel like this one brings something like actually unique to the scene, and I like that. All right, our mini boss this particular area is a bunch of these hammerhoots. Now, they have a tendency to just kind of kill each other, especially since there's an enemy at the center here. And once they lose their hammer, they start to just kind of frantically hit whatever they can hit. So oftentimes, they kind of just end up beating themselves. Alright, the boss here is Lordon. He's another one of those Wordles, like Wyvern turtles. And the way we beat him is we're going to start by just digging underground, flipping him over, and attacking. But you know, after a couple of hits, he's like, okay, that's not fair. And he fills the whole thing with water, and we can't dig under the water. Now it's just survival for a little bit. He's gonna just attack me. There's really nothing I can do here. But then Draharuto Jr. shows up, the little Draki from the second level. And he's going to help me beat this guy. Okay, we're not doing amazing, but I mean, getting a hit there isn't really a problem. It doesn't really lose me any time. But let me try to regain my my control of the fight here. And that's Lordon. Is he stacked on our head, or are we stacked under him? You will never know. So we're gonna save the shaman priestess slime. We're gonna get the tablet, and then we are gonna get out of here. And just like that, we will have 2 dungeons left. Now, if you look at the slime counter in this little transition here, you'll see that we are just about there. We are on 68, which means I have to save 2 more slimes. We're going to save 2 more slimes in the next area. Once again, we see an incomplete tablet. Now, we've hit 12 o'clock. And by hitting 12 o'clock, that means this marathon is now officially a success. This was our end time. BSG is live. We will be raiding BSG soon. But we are going to finish this run first. We have 1 more run to finish. And I did say there would be a little surprise after, which we are going to do. And then in presumably about 40 minutes or so, we will be raiding BSG. So yeah, we get the the boss of this area. We get to see him right away. Very intimidating looking boss. Now, because I don't have to rescue any of the slimes anymore, we can actually kind of make our way through this stage very, very quickly. Because I only have to rescue one slime. I missed the cycle there, which is a little annoying. So there's a wall here that we can blow up, which would have gotten us a slime, but we don't care. We don't have to rescue the slime, so instead I'm just gonna blow up this wall. We're gonna go in here, and we're gonna fall into this little trap. Right. Right, we made it through the trap, no problem. Unsurprisingly. And here is the one slime that I'm going to save. There is one more at the very end of the level, as every level does. And that will get us there. That'll get us to the 70 slimes. So we are now on 69 slimes. And I just gotta make it to the end of the level. Didn't really need to heal there. So we can ignore that slime. From here on out, we are just gonna ignore most of the slimes. We don't need the sword anymore. Well, we will, but we'll get another one later. I'm gonna do it this way so that I can conserve some health. Because we're gonna do some lava boosting in a minute. Yeah, I thought that would be the case. Alright, we have one heart, which is a little less than I would like, because we still have to do the mini-boss here. Alright, we got the mini-boss. And that gets us to the final boss of this stage, which is actually my favorite boss. This is probably the one that I find the easiest. Remember this guy from the start of the level? Yeah, we're gonna go beat him. So this boss is actually two parts. This is Moeru and Hieru. I don't know how to... I'm beating up the wrong boss. So the strategy here is essentially to throw them into each other. And specifically, I want to throw the ice guy into the fire guy. Now that we've beaten one of them, he's going to drop a weapon that we can use to beat the other one. If you beat the ice guy first, he drops a sword. If we beat the fire guy first, he drops the fireball hand. And I can just spam the B button to finish the fight. And that's the fight. That will be our 70th slime. That's the last one we needed to rescue. We're gonna get the tablet. That's the last of the tablets. And just like that, we have 70 slimes, which is all we need to now access the final dungeon. We can't go into the final dungeon yet. We have a couple things to do in town. Because we're gonna get the third tablet. The thing is, when we put all three of the tablets together, we are still going to be left with some gaps, which leads us to believe that there might be a fourth tablet. Now we gotta go find the fourth one. I believe the shaman remembers that he might have heard something about a fourth tablet. And we gotta go find the priestess or the other shaman or whatever it is. Which we will, and in order to find her, we needed to get access to a place for which she needs 70 slimes. Because we've already saved 70 slimes, the next section just triggers immediately. So we get the thing here where it says, you know, we've removed the 70 snow-a-thon ball. Gotta go into this whirlpool. And we can now access the lighthouse. This is where we find the slime that we rescued after beating Lordon. And she's going to make the statue move here and uncover an ancient path underneath the statue. So, this does indeed have one more tablet. You know, where do we put the other ones? Like, together they form a text. You know, we have to join all of the tablets. And then one of the ninja slimes, he falls into this gap, and it turns out actually there's openings for the other tablets underneath. So they clear them out, and they're going to put the tablets in. And then a giant earthquake happens. Wonder what that could be. We get to the top of like the highest place in town, basically. And what we see is that actually this whole island, river, volcano, and everything is a giant turtle. And the final dungeon is on the tail of the turtle. We've uncovered an ancient ruin, which also happens to be where the final boss was hiding. All right, chat. Time for the final boss. Or well, the final dungeon. We still have to do the entire dungeon, and this is a pretty sizable dungeon. This particular dungeon can roughly be split into 5 parts. There are 4 sections where we have to press a button in order to open up the 5th section, which is where the final boss is at. Now, in order to do that, we have to get a sword and put the sword in the correct slot. Now, to get a sword, we need to beat one of these knights. And here it's in the 3rd slot. We're going to start with this one. We have to clear all 4 of the sections first. It does not matter what order we do them, as long as I hit the button at the end of each of the sections. I could have made that. I did not make that. Maybe I could have, but... Yep. That's a little unfortunate. Nope. That's gonna happen more often where I end up accidentally stepping on one of those. And it just happens. The Muddy Hands here is probably one of the most annoying enemies. They will try to just grab me. And they're really hard to avoid. Alright, we hit the last room of the 1st section. Now in each of these 1st sections, we're going to get attacked by the guy from the very start of the game that, you know, captured our friend. We hit the 1st button. That's 1 section done. I'm gonna bring the knight with me so that I don't have to grab the one at the bottom here. That's a little faster if I can grab him. I'm gonna do this one next. The last section here, I need all my health for it. Like I will want to take a heal before I do that one. This is, I believe, the shortest one. If I'm remembering. Yeah, this is the shortest one. Come on, get on the ledge, please. See, the thing is, you're supposed to turn the fans on here so that you can clear the fog. But if you know where to go, you can just kind of wiggle your way into the next room anyway. You never have to clear that puzzle. So that makes this section really, really short. Normally, this is the one I do 4th. But again, because I had taken damage, I was in a better position to do this one as my 2nd one now. And the order doesn't actually matter. Like, it doesn't matter in what way I beat them. Alright, I'll get my health back like that. This is the first one. It's very convenient that for for that particular puzzle, they left the door open so you can just go in there if you know where it is. I do really enjoy that they did that. Since I want my health on the next section, I'll see if I damage boost or not. I think there is no need for it. Oh, right, there was a heal here anyway. Well, that's fine. Yeah, we can just jump over here. The button's right there. This room isn't particularly difficult. That's 3 out of 4 rooms done. The 4th one is the hardest one. At least the last room of that one makes it particularly difficult. Right, we didn't bring a knight out, so I'm gonna have to beat this guy. Which is completely fine. It is in the first slot of this one. There we go. Yeah, this first room, we just got to deal with that muddy hand. The reason that this one in particular is so difficult is because in the last room, there's a bunch of blocks that have to be destroyed by the Cyclops. And he tends to not be very cooperative. Like sometimes you're in the right spot and he just doesn't do what you want him to do, and then sometimes you're in the wrong spot and it does work. It's really finicky. And there's also a muddy hand just to make matters a little bit worse. That's what I mean with the muddy hand. Alright, that actually went pretty decent. I've had that go a lot worse before. Yeah, that now opens up the 5th area, which is the mini-boss and then the final boss fight. I should heal before going to the mini-boss here. The mini-boss, this is the hardest mini-boss in the game. It can be very, very quick, or it can be very easy to die here, and it just kind of depends on how lucky I get. Well, it's not really luck, but it feels like luck sometimes. So the mini-boss is, you might have guessed it, the Cyclops that's been chasing us the entire time. I have to lure him into this section. Then I hit this button, and he still has to be under it. We then capture him, but as I capture him, there will be muddy hands showing up. If I get captured by any of the muddy hands, we're in trouble. Okay, that actually went great. All right. Let's get that half heart back. The final boss is not free. We rescue our friend Huli. He's the last slime will be... or not. No, he's not actually the last slime. There's the one after the final boss. He's the before last slime we'll be saving. He's going to open up the door to the final boss for us. Again, this fight is not free. I'm going to be focusing on this fight. The fight will consist of 3 sections. And my health carries over from one to the other. So if I take a lot of damage in the first one, it becomes basically impossible. So this is Don Majoru. He is the boss of the Platypunks. He's been the one who's capturing all the slimes. Oh, that's... So yeah, that right there is how I lose a heart. I just lost a full heart of health already. Okay, he's gonna shoot the screen. It's fine. Yeah, this fight is basically why I pick up the extra heart. Alright, that's the first phase. We lost 1 heart, which is a little more than I'd like. Like, I like doing this fight, preferably without this first part without taking damage, but 1 heart I can deal with. Second fight, he gets to a second part of the fight, he gets to this giant mecha robot. Now, I can't damage this. My attacks are not strong enough. But our friends can help. Our friends are going to show up. We got to capture or catch our friends here while trying to not get hit. That's the hard part. And then we throw our friends into the boss. Yep, I knew that was going to happen. Got blocked by the other slime. This is not going well so far. Look, we're still in this. We still have 2.5 hearts. I can still do this, but I've taken a lot more damage than I like. That one's on me. Okay, he needs 1 more. Alright, that's the second phase. Now, going into the third phase with only 2 hearts is less than ideal. Yeah, he's going to use the Staff of Change, and he's going to use it to make himself giant. And this is where this is going to get a little bit scary. All right. That's not great. I can still do some damage by hitting his hand, but it doesn't do as much damage. It's gonna be close. I still believe we can do it, but it's gonna be close. Okay. As you can see, that one extra heart gave us the win. That's the boss. Whew, that is a tough fight. But we win. And that is going to be the end. We've got a couple more cutscenes to sit through, but that is the end. I think that's my first completely deathless run, so this was actually a fine run. I'm actually decently happy with how that run went. So yeah, the last slime we're gonna save here. That's our sister. And I think this will be a PB too, just on account of this being deathless. My PB died to the last mini boss. It was a fairly quick boss, but like the last dungeon went quite well. So yeah, we have a whole discussion with him, and then his alarm rings because it's time for you know, that Platypunk he's such a big fan of to be on TV. And just like that, we have saved the day. We have saved all of our slime friends. Well, not quite all of them. We've saved most of our slime friends. We've come to the rescue, and just like that, we win. Time's coming up. And that's it. That's a 50-second PB. All right. I'm gonna get the intermission music ready real quick. And we're gonna go to... I'm gonna move to the intermission screen and do some afterthoughts there. So bear with me while I do. Alright. I believe the afterthoughts song should now have started. Let me know if I need to turn it up a bit. It starts off quite quiet, so... I did not get a chance to... let me just do this on the fly. As with everything in this marathon, I am not prepared for this. So you're going to just have to deal with me ranting on for a couple of seconds. In a minute, we still have a little surprise for you all. Something that we've put, or well, not we, that Sionius in chat has put together for us. So we will get to that in a second. But first, I want to just give a couple of thank yous. 7.5 or so years ago, as I mentioned in the run, 7.5 or so years ago, I ran into an event that just seemed like it was going to be going nowhere. It was scheduled during Games Done Quick, which, you know, the scene was much smaller at the time, and even then it was already not done. The organizer only wanted to run the Twitter. That was the only thing he was scheduled to do. He was looking for people to schedule for him, restream for him, basically do everything. A friend of mine, Paulister, had actually submitted to one of these events, because there were two. And I told him, listen, this is going to be a disaster, pull out. Don't do this. And I think they ended up doing the marathon with the submission videos, which was a whole other thing. Anyway, you know, the BSG that followed, because at the time it was monthly, we were always we were kind of just joking around of like, I think even without any prep, we could do better. So, you know, one thing led to another, and the first Jon Snow-a-thon was born. We ran the first event. Now, at the time, a lot of people knew that I was going to try to pull this stunt. I told everybody, don't tell me anything before 6 hours before the start. I don't want to know. We did 3 events. 2 of them succeeded. 1 of them died after the 4th run because the setup took too long. Our timer of death ran out. And then it kind of just stopped for a while. There was some drama. I don't want to get into that. This has to be a happy moment. But, you know, we finished 2 of the events. And, for years I've been saying, one day I will do this again. And I had told myself, if I do, I'm not going to tell anyone. I'm going to actually have it be a surprise that, yes, this is happening again. I had told Sion, that my partner, that I was gonna do that. That I was gonna be like, okay, let's show. I want to do this again, one more time. I didn't know that I was actually gonna do that until Tuesday, when I got woken up, and he asked me if I still wanted to do this. So, it's been a while. And from there, it's been a wild journey. There's a couple people I really want to thank. I want to thank Sion for just kind of supporting me throughout this. He has literally saved the marathon more times than I can count. There's Tutular. God bless his soul. He's been amazing. He's covered basically every single night. And has actually allowed us to get some sleep. It wasn't great sleep, but some sleep. Selkuth, who huge help for the first couple days as well, helping the night shift. She got sick throughout the event at some point. So, it's been it's been rough. We've got the whole run selection crew. We've got Floa, we've got Indy, we've got Relvoy return. Mies, who did a tiebreaker when we were completely stuck. Yesterday we had a run where our votes were dead tied. And he was in chat and I just pulled him and being like, hey, want to be a tiebreaker real quick? So I want to chat to help me convince you that we should get takeout tonight, a celebration, and not. I'm 100% down for takeout. Absolutely. I think we've deserved it. So yeah, Indy, who made our music playlist, the music that you've been hearing in the intermissions was for 90% put together by Indy. Sion, who made the layouts, I'm going to shout him out a second time because he made the layouts. Another man that you've not even seen much throughout the event, but who's been a huge help, despite not being as visible, is Distro. Distro at some point messaged me, hey, if you're stuck at any point, hit me up. I'll be ready. And I had to twice. I never do, Loki. I never do. I've had all the dinner places in the area. That is not the best one, and I know. I experienced that. So yeah, this will be the last one I run. I am not going to do another Jon Snow-a-thon. I've done 4 of these. They are incredibly tiring. They're incredibly exhausting. But so, you know, I because I've been saying for so many years that there was going to be one more, I did not want to break that promise. I wanted to do it at some point. That's done now. My promise is fulfilled. I'm off the hook now. That being said, I'm going to leave the door open for somebody to take over if they want. Message me in the next week or so, because I know there are some people that are interested. I want to be able to have a conversation with the people that are like, I would be willing to take up the mantle and figure out who to entrust the event to. So if that's something you want to do, hit me up. We'll talk about it. The concept, you know, it's just a concept. Everybody can do it. If you want to do it, you know, if you want to take over the server that didn't exist before the first event, if you want to take the name, let's have a chat. I would like to have a chat about that. Now, we have one more thing that has been put together for us by Sion to show at the end, and at the end of that, we're going to raid BSG. We're going to raid BSG with the message, you know nothing, Jon Snow. And then add to that whatever emote you want. So copy paste that. So add to that whatever emote you want. That'll be for the raid. First, and I'm gonna cut the music here, and I hope this works. We have not tested this, as we have not with anything this run, or this event. Let me transition you to our final little thing. Heck, there's no music. Hang on. We're gonna try that again, because the music didn't work. There should be music. Oh, we have music? Okay, I couldn't hear the music then. Okay. As I said, we have not tested it. Okay, I'll transition back to it.